Look around you. This, right now, is your life. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Today is the only day that truly exists. And in this single day, you hold the power to rewrite your entire story. Most people wait for the perfect moment to change, but that moment never comes. Life doesn't get better by accident, it gets better by decision. Decide today to become the kind of person your future self will thank you for. Start by stripping away the noise. Delete distractions, walk away from toxic influences, and silence the voices that say, you can't. You don't need permission to rise. You only need courage to start. Take out a blank page and write down who you want to be, what you want to build, and how you want to live. That clarity is the foundation of your transformation. Create a plan even if it's messy. Act on it immediately. Change doesn't wait for readiness. It rewards action. Yes, it will be hard. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. But nothing is heavier than regret. So make today the day you burn the old script and write a new one. You don't need another year to change your life. You just need one bold day. And that day is today. Radical self-awareness is the first and most crucial step to fixing your entire life in a single day. Before you can change anything around you, you must be brutally honest about what's happening inside you. Most people drift through life reacting to circumstances, blaming luck, or comparing themselves to others, but they rarely stop to ask the hard questions. Who am I really? What am I doing with my time? What am I becoming? This silence between your actions is where the truth lies, and truth is the starting point of transformation. To practice radical self-awareness, you must be willing to confront the uncomfortable. It's not about judging yourself. It's about understanding yourself. You can't build a new life on top of lies you tell yourself. If you feel stuck, admit it. If you've been procrastinating, call it what it is. If you've been living by other people's expectations instead of your own, acknowledge it. The sooner you face reality, the faster you can rise above it. Denial delays growth. Honesty accelerates it. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that reflects not your appearance, but your mindset, your habits, your fears, and your patterns. What would you see? Would you see discipline or distraction, confidence or self-doubt, purpose or confusion? Radical self-awareness is about standing in front of that invisible mirror and refusing to look away. It's about choosing to see clearly, even when what you see is painful. Because pain can be a teacher, but only if you're willing to learn. Start by dissecting your daily life. Where does your time go? Who do you spend it with? What are the things that drain you, and what are the things that energize you? Many people say they want success, yet they spend most of their hours on things that don't build them, don't challenge them, and don't serve their future. They stay busy but not productive, connected but not fulfilled, moving but not progressing. Self-awareness forces you to measure the difference between activity and achievement. Then look deeper into your emotions. What triggers your frustration? What ignites your excitement? What makes you jealous? And why? Your emotional reactions are signposts pointing to your hidden beliefs. If you feel angry when others succeed, it may mean you don't yet believe in your own potential. If you feel tired all the time, it may mean you are working against your natural strengths instead of with them. Self-awareness requires the courage to decode these signals rather than ignore them. Question the stories you tell yourself. Every person carries an inner narrative. I'm not good enough. I always fail. I'm unlucky. People don't support me. These stories shape your behavior and limit your possibilities. Radical self-awareness means identifying which stories are false, who planted them in your mind, and deciding which new story you will choose to live by. You are not the voice of your doubts. You are the author of your identity. And finally, be aware of your values. Ask yourself what you truly care about, not what you've been told to care about. Many chase money, fame, or approval without asking whether these things actually bring meaning. When you align your actions with your real values, life becomes simpler. Every decision becomes clearer. Every challenge becomes fuel rather than friction. Without values, success feels empty. With values, even small steps feel like progress. Self-awareness draws the blueprint for who you can become, because you cannot aim at a target you refuse to see. Once you become radically self-aware, the next leap is to create a decisive mindset shift. This is the moment you stop living as a passenger and start steering your own life. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, resources, or opportunities. They fail because they never make a final decision about who they will become. They live in a constant state of hesitation, half committed, always waiting for a perfect sign, a perfect time, a perfect guarantee. But perfection never comes. What transforms a life in a single day is not gradual waiting. It is the instant clarity of a decision that leaves no room for turning back. A decisive mindset is built on the understanding that commitment comes before confidence. You don't wait to feel ready, you decide, and then you build yourself to match that decision. Waiting for courage is like waiting for fire before striking the match. Action creates belief. When you draw a line and say, from today onward, I will no longer live like I used to, something powerful shifts internally. Your brain stops treating change as an option and begins treating it as your new identity. To shift your mindset decisively, you must first destroy the habit of indecision. Indecision is silent poison. It drains your energy, clouds your focus, and erodes your self-respect. Every time you delay a choice, you strengthen the voice of doubt. Every time you make a firm choice, you strengthen the voice of power. Decide quickly, act boldly, and correct along the way. Successful people are not always right. They are simply decisive, and their speed of decision builds momentum that others mistake for luck. You must also stop asking for external validation. A decisive mindset is born when you stop seeking permission and start trusting your inner compass. The world will always offer opinions, doubts, and distractions, but you cannot build your future on borrowed voices. People who keep asking, "What do you think I should do?" stay stuck in circles. People who declare, "This is what I will do," create new paths where none existed. When your decision is real, you don't argue about it, you act on it. Train your mind to treat commitment as a contract. Write your decision down. Speak it out loud. Tie it to your identity, not your mood. Moods change, but identities persist. If you say, "I will try," your brain leaves an exit door. If you say, "I will," your brain begins engineering the path forward. Decisiveness locks the door behind you and forces your potential to move forward. Many breakthroughs don't come from better strategies, they come from burning the bridges that keep you tied to your old ways. A decisive mindset also means shifting your relationship with fear. Fear will not disappear just because you've chosen a new path. It will grow louder, because fear always rises when you are close to growth. But fear is not a stop sign, it is a signal that you are entering new territory. The decisive mind doesn't try to erase fear, it acts despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the choice to move forward while fear screams in the background. The day you make a decision so clear that fear loses its power to stop you, you break the cycle that has kept you small, and you must change how you see failure. A decisive mind knows failure is not final, it is feedback. Each attempt, each mistake, is simply information that brings you closer to the right path. People who fear failure stay frozen. People who decide they will succeed no matter how many times they fall eventually become unstoppable. This shift in perspective creates emotional resilience because your self-worth is no longer tied to single results, it is tied to relentless progress. When your identity shifts from, "I hope this works," to "I will make this work," every obstacle becomes a stepping stone instead of a wall. Once the decision is made, the next vital step is to simplify your life. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Most people remain stuck not because they are incapable, but because their lives are cluttered with unnecessary noise, distractions, and obligations that scatter their focus and dilute their energy. To fix your life in one day, you must clear the chaos that has kept you trapped in cycles of delay and confusion. Simplicity is not about having less, it is about removing what does not serve your purpose so that what matters can finally breathe. Start by auditing your environment. Look at where you live, where you work, and where you spend your time. Every physical space you inhabit either supports your goals or suffocates them. Cluttered surroundings create cluttered thinking. A messy desk breeds hesitation. A chaotic schedule breeds stress. Order creates clarity, and clarity fuels action. Remove the objects that hold no value, clean the spaces where you want to think clearly, and organize the tools that will help you execute fast. When your environment becomes intentional, your mind stops wasting energy on chaos and starts focusing fully on creation. Then simplify your commitments. Most people say yes too often, scattering their time on obligations that neither align with their goals nor bring them joy. They carry the weight of other people's expectations and end up exhausted without progress. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something essential. To simplify your life, you must master the art of saying no without guilt. Protect your time like it is your greatest currency, because it is. Every hour you give away without purpose is an hour stolen from your future. Strip away tasks that do not build your vision, and your progress will accelerate like never before. Simplify your digital world. The modern mind is drowning in notifications, endless scrolling, and constant comparisons. The more screens demand your attention, the less attention you have left for building the life you want. Delete apps that waste your focus. Turn off notifications that steal your mornings and hijack your nights. Stop chasing every piece of information and start consuming only what fuels your growth. A simplified digital space creates mental silence, and in that silence, powerful ideas can finally emerge. Focus on your relationships. Many people stay stuck because they are surrounded by noise disguised as friendship. Some people drain you with negativity, gossip, or constant doubt, and yet you keep them close out of habit. But your environment shapes your identity, and your identity shapes your future. Simplifying your life means choosing people who push you to grow, who challenge you to rise, and who support your journey even when it's uncomfortable. Distance yourself from the voices that keep you small and invest deeply in the voices that remind you who you can become. Cut complexity from your goals. Most people overwhelm themselves by trying to fix everything at once, building long lists that paralyze them before they even begin. The human brain thrives on clarity and chokes on overload. Choose 3 priorities that will move your life forward the fastest and forget the rest for now. Focus creates momentum, and momentum creates results. The more simple your plan, the easier it becomes to execute it consistently. Success does not come from doing more things. It comes from doing fewer things with absolute intensity. Even your thinking must be simplified. Overthinking is the great thief of progress. Every time you replay the same questions, doubts, and fears in your head, you spend energy without producing movement. Train your mind to replace endless analysis with immediate action. Simplicity is clarity, and clarity creates power. When you eliminate the clutter of distractions, obligations, and mental noise, you free the energy trapped inside confusion and direct it like a laser toward the life you are building. After stripping away distractions and simplifying your life, you must anchor yourself in something deeper, your core values. Without values, achievement feels hollow. Without values, progress has no direction. Most people chase goals without ever questioning if those goals align with who they truly want to be, and that is why they reach milestones yet still feel empty. Fixing your life in one day requires more than new plans. It requires building on a foundation of principles that will not crumble under pressure. Core values are that foundation. They are the internal compass that will guide you through chaos, temptation, and uncertainty when everything around you shifts. Defining your values starts with brutal honesty about what matters to you, not what society praises, not what others expect, but what lights your soul on fire. Ask yourself, if I remove the noise of comparison, what would I still care about? If everything I owned was taken from me, what kind of person would I still choose to be? These questions strip life down to its essence. Most people skip them, and that's why they climb ladders leaning against the wrong walls. Values protect you from chasing approval over authenticity. Write down the qualities you admire in others, the principles you want to embody, and the impact you want to have. Maybe it is integrity, resilience, creativity, discipline, compassion, or growth. Your list should not be long. Values are not meant to be countless. They are meant to be core. Too many values create confusion. A few deeply chosen ones create clarity. Think of them as the DNA of your future self. They are not just traits you hope to have, they are rules you will not break. Then define what each value means to you in action. A word without behavior is just decoration. If you value integrity, what does that look like on a Monday morning when things go wrong? If you value growth, how will you behave when you fail? If you value discipline, what will you do on the days you feel tired and unmotivated? Values must be lived, not just framed. They must show up in your choices, your habits, and your language. Otherwise, they remain empty slogans that fade under pressure. Once your values are clear, measure your current life against them. This is where transformation begins. Where are you living in alignment with your values, and where are you betraying them? Most inner conflict comes from living in contradiction. When your actions violate your values, you feel restless and uncertain. even if the world thinks you are winning. When your actions align with your values, you feel powerful even if results haven't come yet. This is how values create emotional stability. They make you feel successful from the inside out. Your values must also guide your decisions. Every opportunity will not be right for you. Every path will not match who you want to become. When you make decisions without values, you are tossed by moods, circumstances, and other people's opinions. But when you filter every choice through your values, your direction stays clear even in chaos. You stop asking, what is easiest, and start asking, what aligns with who I am? This shift saves years of wasted effort, because it keeps you from chasing things that don't belong to you. Core values also shape how you handle relationships. Who you spend time with should reflect what you stand for. If you value honesty, stay close to people who speak truth even when it's hard. If you value growth, surround yourself with those who challenge you instead of those who comfort your excuses. Values are the silent boundaries that protect your energy and define your standards. They teach others how to treat you and remind you how to treat yourself. Living by values may cost you approval in the short term, but it builds unshakable self-respect in the long term, and that self-respect becomes the fuel that carries you through the storms on the way to your vision. Once your values are defined, you must translate them into action by setting non-negotiable goals. Goals give direction to your energy, but non-negotiable goals ignite commitment. Most people set goals casually as wishes or vague hopes, and that is why they treat them lightly and abandon them easily. Non-negotiable goals are different. They are not dreams you would like to achieve. They are decisions about what you will achieve no matter the difficulty, no matter the discomfort, no matter the doubt. They are rooted so deeply in your values that quitting is not even an option your mind entertains. To set non-negotiable goals, you must first decide which few outcomes will transform your life the fastest. Trying to achieve everything at once leads to scattered effort and diluted results. Focus creates power. Choose 2 or 3 monumental goals that, if accomplished, will make every other challenge easier or irrelevant. These are the pillars of your future. Write them down with precision. Vague goals create vague actions, but specific goals create specific momentum. Get healthier is vague. Lose 20 pounds in 90 days by training 5 days a week and tracking every meal is specific. Clarity eliminates hesitation. Then set deadlines. A goal without a deadline is just a wish dressed in fancy words. Deadlines create urgency, and urgency fuels discipline. The mind becomes resourceful when it knows time is finite. Choose timelines that challenge you, not timelines that comfort you. Growth is born from pressure. A deadline forces you to prioritize, to stop delaying, and to stop waiting for perfect conditions. When the clock is ticking, excuses become irrelevant and progress becomes non-negotiable. Break your big goals into measurable milestones. The human brain loves progress, but it gets overwhelmed by massive targets. Milestones give you visible victories along the way, each one feeding your confidence and reinforcing your belief. When you see evidence that you are moving forward, motivation stops being something you chase and becomes something you generate. This structure turns your goals from distant fantasies into concrete realities you can track and conquer piece by piece. Make your goals visible and public. When you keep goals hidden in your head, they remain fragile and easy to ignore. When you write them down, speak them out loud, and declare them boldly, they become a contract. This visibility holds you accountable. It forces you to align your identity with your intentions. You begin to act like the person who achieves those goals, and that shift in identity is what drives lasting transformation. Public commitment adds weight, and that weight strengthens your resolve. Attach emotional meaning to each goal. Logic sets goals, but emotion achieves them. If your goal has no emotional weight, discipline will collapse when life gets hard. Ask yourself why this goal matters, what pain you will escape when you reach it, and what joy you will create by accomplishing it. Visualize the version of yourself who has already achieved it. How they stand, how they speak, how they live. Emotion ties your goals to your soul. When the vision is emotionally real, your mind becomes relentless in pursuing it. Finally, remove escape routes. Treat your goals like promises, not preferences. Non-negotiable means there is no back door. No, if it gets hard, I'll stop. No, I'll try until it's inconvenient. Trying leaves space for retreat, while deciding leaves only the path forward. Adjust strategies when needed, but never the commitment. When you burn the option to quit, you awaken hidden strength you didn't know you had. The mind becomes sharper, the body becomes stronger, and the spirit becomes unbreakable when it knows there is no way back and only one way forward. Once your non-negotiable goals are set, you must give them structure through a 90-day action plan. Big visions inspire you, but short timelines move you. Most people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they never convert ambition into a clear and immediate sequence of actions. They dream about the future while standing still in the present. A 90-day plan turns vague intention into urgent execution. 90 days is long enough to create powerful change and short enough to keep you intensely focused. It compresses your energy, forces clarity, and eliminates the illusion that you have endless time. Start by reverse engineering your big goal into quarterly outcomes. Ask yourself, what measurable result must I achieve in the next 90 days to prove I am on track? Be precise. If your goal is to build a business, what specific milestone defines success after 90 days? Launching a product, gaining 100 customers, generating 10,000 in revenue. If your goal is personal transformation, what measurable change will mark progress? Losing 15 pounds, reading 12 books, mastering a new skill. Your brain needs a clear target to pursue, not a cloud of wishes. Then break that 90-day target into monthly checkpoints. Each month becomes a chapter in the story you are writing. This structure prevents overwhelm because you no longer stare at the mountain. You focus on the path right in front of you. Define what must be completed by the end of month 1, month 2, and month 3. Each checkpoint should be concrete, visible, and measurable. It is easier to stay disciplined when you can see exactly how far you have come and how close you are to the next milestone. Next, slice each month into weekly missions. This is where your plan becomes actionable. A week is small enough to control yet large enough to make visible progress. Decide what 3 key actions will move you closer to your monthly checkpoint every week. Do not flood your schedule with dozens of tasks. Simplicity fuels execution. Focus only on the few critical actions that create the greatest impact. Write these weekly missions down and review them every morning until they become non-negotiable habits. Once your weekly missions are set, design your daily rituals. A plan is only as strong as your daily behavior. What will you do each morning to prepare your mind? What will you do each evening to review your progress and plan tomorrow? Break your day into focused blocks of deep work, recovery, and learning. Protect these blocks with fierce discipline. Treat them like appointments with your future self. Every day executed with intention compounds into massive momentum over 90 days. Build accountability into your plan. Accountability multiplies commitment. Share your 90-day goal with someone you respect or document your progress publicly. Knowing that others are watching forces you to rise above excuses. It turns your plan into a promise. Accountability removes the escape routes your mind tries to build when discipline fades. It keeps your commitment alive even on the days you feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. Measure everything. What gets measured gets improved. Track your actions daily, review your progress weekly, and adjust your strategies monthly. Data reveals the truth your emotions try to hide. If something isn't working, change your approach without changing your commitment. If something is working, amplify it. Tracking keeps you objective. It protects you from drifting into aimless effort and keeps your focus locked on results. Over 90 days, these small daily wins will stack on top of each other, and the momentum will become unstoppable as your actions compound into visible transformation. Once your 90-day action plan is in place, the next critical step is to upgrade your environment. Your surroundings are not just background. They are active forces shaping your behavior, decisions, and mindset every single day. Most people try to change their lives while staying in environments that silently sabotage their efforts. They work hard on their goals while living in spaces filled with distraction, surrounded by people who drain them, and immersed in habits that anchor them to their old identity. If you want to transform quickly, you must create an environment that makes success easier and failure harder. Start by upgrading your physical space. Your surroundings either pull you toward discipline or push you toward delay. A cluttered desk breeds procrastination. A chaotic bedroom breeds mental fog. A messy kitchen breeds unhealthy choices. Every physical item around you sends a signal to your brain. If you want focus, build a space that whispers focus. Clean it, organize it, and strip it down to only the essentials that serve your mission. Surround yourself with tools, visuals, and reminders that reinforce the person you are becoming. Let your space speak your goals louder than your doubts. Then evaluate your digital environment. Most people carry 1,000 distractions in their pockets and wonder why they can't concentrate. Every notification you receive is a hook pulling your mind away from what matters. Every pointless scroll drains the energy you need for execution. Upgrade your digital environment by decluttering it just as ruthlessly as your physical one. Remove apps that waste your attention. Block websites that feed distraction. Turn off notifications that interrupt your flow. Replace entertainment-driven content with education-driven content that sharpens your mind. Your phone should be a weapon, not a weakness. Examine the people around you. Human energy is contagious. The attitudes, habits, and mindsets of the people you spend time with will either lift you higher or pull you back into mediocrity. If your circle normalizes excuses, comfort, and complaining, you will absorb those patterns no matter how ambitious you are. Upgrade your environment by upgrading your relationships. Seek out people who challenge you, who demand excellence from themselves and expect it from you, who see your potential and refuse to let you shrink from it. Proximity to greatness rewires your standards. The right environment makes discipline feel normal and ambition feel natural. Upgrade your routines and surroundings to align with peak performance. Design your mornings to spark clarity and your nights to restore energy. Place your workout clothes where you can see them. Keep a water bottle on your desk to stay hydrated. Prepare healthy meals in advance to eliminate decision fatigue. Small physical cues create powerful behavioral shifts. Environment shapes action more reliably than willpower. When success becomes the path of least resistance, consistency becomes effortless. Even the language you hear every day is part of your environment. Words carry energy. If your surroundings are filled with negative conversations, constant complaints, or self-doubt disguised as advice, your mind will echo those words even when you are alone. Feed your environment with powerful language. Play empowering speeches, read inspiring books, and write affirmations where you can see them. Build a mental atmosphere that speaks to your future, not your fears. The words that surround you shape the thoughts that guide you, and those thoughts will silently direct your choices until your reality reflects them. Finally, protect your environment with fierce boundaries. A strong environment is not built once, it is maintained daily. Guard your time from people who waste it, guard your energy from habits that drain it, and guard your focus from distractions that erode it. Treat your environment like sacred ground for your potential. Every element of it must support your rise. Every detail must serve your growth. Every corner must remind you who you are becoming and what you are building. With your environment upgraded, the next crucial step is to master self-discipline. Discipline is the bridge between your current reality and your future vision. Most people rely on motivation, hoping to feel inspired every day, but motivation is fragile. It fades with moods, weather, and emotions. Discipline is different. Discipline does not ask how you feel, it executes regardless. If you want to rebuild your entire life, discipline must stop being something you use occasionally and start becoming who you are consistent. Begin by redefining how you see discipline. Many treat it as punishment, as if discipline means deprivation or suffering. That mindset makes it impossible to sustain. Discipline is not restriction. Discipline is self-respect in motion. It is the decision to act in alignment with your goals, even when it's uncomfortable. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce your belief that your word matters. Every time you break one, you teach yourself that your word is negotiable. Discipline is the practice of making your promises unbreakable. Build discipline by building structure. Chaos kills consistency. If your days are unplanned, your mind will always choose comfort over progress. Design your schedule with intention. Block your time into focused segments where distractions are eliminated and actions are clearly defined. Treat these blocks as appointments with your future self, non-cancelable and non-negotiable. Structure reduces the need for willpower because decisions are already made. The less you have to decide in the moment, the easier it becomes to act without hesitation. Start small and stack gradually. The brain resists massive sudden change, but adapts to small consistent wins. Choose 1 or 2 habits that align with your highest goals and make them mandatory daily rituals. Do them at the same time every day until they become automatic. Once they are effortless, add the next layer. This is how discipline grows from fragile effort into unshakable identity. It's not about intensity for a few days, it's about consistency for as long as it takes. Momentum is the reward of discipline, and momentum makes difficult actions feel natural. Eliminate temptations that compete with your discipline. Willpower is a limited resource, and even the strongest mind will eventually break if surrounded by constant triggers. If you are trying to eat clean, remove junk food from your space. If you are trying to focus, silence your phone and block distracting sites. If you are trying to save money, cut off easy spending pathways. The disciplined don't rely on resisting temptation, they design their lives to avoid it. Environment supports discipline, but discipline also reinforces environment. Use accountability as a discipline amplifier. When only you know your plans, it's easy to break them quietly. When others know, your pride pushes you to follow through. Share your commitments with someone who will challenge you, not someone who will excuse you. Track your progress publicly or with a trusted partner who will not tolerate your excuses. Discipline grows faster when backed by pressure, and accountability is the pressure that forces consistency even on the days your motivation disappears. Learn to act without negotiating with your emotions. The disciplined mind does not wait to feel like it. It understands that action creates emotion, not the other way around. Feelings follow motion. When the alarm rings, get up. When the schedule says work, start. When the plan says train, move. This pattern rewires your brain to trust action over emotion. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you shrink the voice of doubt and strengthen the voice of power. Over time, you stop needing to push yourself because it becomes your default state, your natural rhythm, your identity, and that identity becomes unshakable because it is built on daily proof that you can command yourself to act regardless of how you feel. Once discipline becomes your foundation, you must learn to turn pain into power. Pain is the universal currency of growth, yet most people waste it. They run from it, numb it, or complain about it, never realizing that pain is the most honest teacher life offers. Every great transformation is built on moments of discomfort, heartbreak, failure, or struggle that could have broken someone, but didn't. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the signal that you are touching the edge of your old identity and pressing against the doorway to your next one. The first step is to stop seeing pain as punishment. Many treat hardship as proof that they are cursed or incapable, but pain is rarely personal. It is simply feedback. It is the friction that forms strength, the resistance that reveals your weaknesses so you can rebuild them as strengths. Muscles grow when they are torn. Diamonds form under pressure. Your mind and spirit work the same way. When life challenges you, it is not trying to destroy you, it is trying to expose the dormant power you have not yet used. To turn pain into power, you must shift your questions. Most people ask, why is this happening to me? That question keeps you stuck. Replace it with, what is this trying to teach me? Pain always carries a lesson, and the faster you extract the lesson, the faster you transform the suffering into fuel. Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's teaching you to be sharper, stronger, more focused. Maybe it's showing you who is truly loyal and who only stood by you when things were easy. Pain clarifies what comfort hides. Use your pain as a blueprint for growth. Whatever has hurt you the most often points to the area you are meant to master. If rejection broke you, master resilience. If failure crushed you, master strategy. If betrayal shattered you, master discernment. Turn the wound into wisdom. When you study your pain instead of hiding from it, you gain tools no textbook can teach. That pain becomes armor, not to block the world out, but to walk through it unshaken. Channel your pain into relentless action. Pain contains massive energy, and if you do not direct it, it will consume you. Use it as fuel. Pour it into your craft, your training, your work, your vision. Let it drive you longer than motivation ever could. While others rest because they feel comfortable, you will move because you remember the weight you refuse to carry again. Let the memory of what broke you become the fire that builds you. Transformation begins the moment you decide your pain will no longer be wasted as suffering. It will be converted into progress. Surround your pain with purpose. When pain feels meaningless, it crushes you. When it is tied to purpose, it strengthens you. Remind yourself who needs you to rise, what mission depends on your strength, and what future will be born from your endurance. Purpose transforms pain from a prison into a forge. It stops feeling like something happening to you and starts feeling like something happening for you. That shift changes your entire relationship with struggle. You stop resisting it and start harnessing it. And finally, rewrite your story about pain. Many people let their painful past become their identity. They wear their wounds like labels. I'm broken. I'm unlucky. I'm not enough. But your pain is not who you are. It is something you went through. You can choose to see it not as a scar, but as proof of survival, not as weakness, but as evidence of strength. When you change the meaning of your pain, it stops being an anchor and starts becoming a weapon. It stops holding you down and starts pushing you forward with force that comfort could never create. If you want, I can now expand the 10th and final keynote. Begin before you feel ready, in the same tone and 600 words to complete this full speech. Would you like me to do that next? After transforming pain into power, the final shift is to begin before you feel ready. Waiting to feel ready is the greatest trap that keeps dreams locked inside the minds of millions. People wait for the perfect timing, the perfect clarity, the perfect conditions, but perfection never arrives. Readiness is not a requirement, it is a result. You become ready only by beginning. Action is the birthplace of confidence, and clarity emerges from movement, not from hesitation. If you want to fix your entire life in a single day, you must kill the myth of readiness and step forward while you are still trembling. Readiness is often just fear disguised as logic. The mind will generate endless reasons to delay, not enough experience, not enough resources, not enough support. These reasons feel rational, but they are illusions. They are fear's way of protecting your comfort zone. If you obey them, your comfort becomes your cage. Growth never feels comfortable at first. The first step always feels heavier than it is. The mind magnifies the risk and hides the potential, but the only way to shrink fear is to walk through it. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the refusal to be ruled by it. The most powerful people are not the ones who started fully prepared. They are the ones who started regardless of preparation. Every master was once a beginner fumbling through their first attempt. Every empire began as a single decision on an ordinary day. The world rewards those who move, not those who wait. The moment you take action, even if it is messy and imperfect, you separate yourself from the millions still stuck in hesitation. Progress loves speed. Action creates momentum, and momentum crushes doubt. Starting before you feel ready forces you to grow at a pace that comfort never could. When you leap, your mind adapts. Your creativity expands because it has to. Your resourcefulness sharpens under pressure. Skills that seem distant begin to form because necessity accelerates learning. This is why action is the ultimate teacher. What you fear you can't do often becomes what you do best, simply because you had the courage to begin while still unsure. Waiting to feel confident is backward. Confidence is built from doing difficult things before you feel qualified to do them. Detach from the illusion of perfect conditions. There will always be unfinished pieces, unknown factors, and missing resources. Start anyway. Start with what you have from where you are and let progress unlock the next steps. The path will not appear until your feet move. Life rewards those who bet on themselves, not those who stand on the sidelines hoping for guarantees. Every giant leap begins as a small, awkward first step. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel uncertain. That discomfort is not a sign you are failing. It is the sign you are finally moving. Treat hesitation as your enemy. The longer you delay, the louder fear becomes. Overthinking creates imaginary barriers that do not exist. When an opportunity calls, answer immediately before your doubts can speak. Build a habit of fast execution. Decide, act, adjust. The world moves too fast for perfectionism. Those who hesitate get left behind. Those who act learn faster, adapt faster, and rise faster. Imperfect action beats perfect intention every single time. And most importantly, trust that you will figure it out on the way. You don't need the entire staircase to take the first step. You don't need all the answers to start the mission. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to move while afraid. Every leap plants a seed of self-belief. Every action, no matter how small, becomes proof that you are capable. That proof compounds, and as it compounds, the fear that once paralyzed you becomes fuel that pushes you further than certainty ever could. In conclusion, fixing your entire life in one day is not about achieving perfection overnight. It is about making one irreversible decision. to stop living on autopilot and start leading your life with intention. In just a single day, you can draw a line between who you were and who you will become. By embracing radical self-awareness, you expose the truth about where you stand. With a decisive mindset shift, you shatter the old patterns that kept you stuck. By simplifying your life, defining your core values, and setting non-negotiable goals, you anchor your identity in purpose instead of confusion. Creating a 90-day action plan gives your ambition structure. Upgrading your environment aligns your surroundings with your future. Mastering self-discipline turns consistency into your superpower, and transforming pain into power gives you fuel that comfort never could. Finally, when you begin before you feel ready, you become unstoppable. Your life changes the moment you decide it must. One day of ruthless clarity and decisive action can rewrite the trajectory of everything that comes after. Choose that day. Choose this day. Because nothing is more powerful than a human being who decides they are done waiting to become who they were meant to be.